My name is Victoria Bennett. I'm 32, and I never imagined the moment my phone rang would change everything. Margaret, my mother-in-law, was on the line, her voice dripping with smug triumph. I gave it to Ashley. She deserves it more than you, she said. My grandmother's sapphire ring, 5 generations, 5 decades of history, was gone from my jewelry box. Every instinct in me screamed that Margaret had crossed a line she could never return from. In that instant, I realized this wasn't just theft, it was a challenge, and I was about to turn the tables in ways she would never see coming. The moment my phone rang, a cold feeling settled in my stomach, almost like my body already knew trouble was coming, and I was right. Margaret's voice poured through the speaker, sharp and smug, as if she had been waiting her whole life to say what came next. I gave it to Ashley. She deserves it more than you, she announced, every word dripping with satisfaction. After all, she's my actual daughter. My hand shook as I stared at my open jewelry box. The soft velvet inside now painfully empty. The spot where my grandmother's vintage sapphire ring had sat for 5 years was bare. Violently bare. I'm Victoria Bennett, 32 years old, and in that moment, I realized my mother-in-law had finally crossed a line she could never return from. You went into my bedroom, I said slowly, forcing my voice to stay steady, though my anger churned like a storm, and you took my grandmother's ring. Margaret, that ring is worth $250,000. It is not yours to give away. Oh, please, she scoffed. Your grandmother's ring. Don't be ridiculous. Everyone knows James bought that for you. And since he's my son, I have every right to give family heirlooms to my daughter. Ashley's wedding is in 3 months, and she deserves something special. I closed my eyes, counting to 10, because losing my temper would only feed her ego. In 7 long years of marriage, Margaret had never accepted me. To her, I was the gold digger who stole James from the future she had planned. And Ashley, her precious daughter, was perfect in every way, at least in Margaret's imagination. What she didn't know, what only James and I knew, was that the ring was truly my grandmother's. A rare Ceylon sapphire carried through generations of women in my family. My grandmother had placed it in my hand on her deathbed, her voice weak but firm as she made me promise to guard it. Margaret, I said, keeping my tone even, that ring has a certificate of authenticity and a documented history. It isn't just jewelry, it's my family's legacy. Her laugh screeched through the phone. Legacy? Your family? Don't make me laugh, Victoria. Everyone knows your side had nothing before James. Besides, her voice brightened smugly, Ashley already took it to get fitted at Caracal's. There's nothing you can do now. My heart stopped. Caracal, the most elite jeweler in the city, the place where my grandmother had kept her entire collection in perfect condition for decades, where Mr. Caracal himself had handled every piece and knew its story better than anyone alive. You sent Ashley to Caracal? I asked, even though she couldn't see the slow smile spreading across my face. Of course, she bragged. Only the best for my daughter. She's there right now having it sized. Unlike you, she has delicate hands worthy of such a beautiful piece. I checked the time. A pp. Perfect. Mr. Caracal always handled his afternoon appointments personally. Thank you for letting me know, Margaret, I said sweetly. You've been very helpful. What's that supposed to? I hung up before she could finish. My hands were steady now, not shaking with anger, but with the calm of someone who knows they're about to win. I dialed Caracal's and the receptionist answered immediately, recognizing my name before I even finished speaking. Mrs. Bennett, Mr. Caracal was just about to call you. He's with a young lady claiming to be your sister-in-law about the Ceylon sapphire. Yes, Amanda. Please put him through. It's urgent. A moment later, his warm, familiar voice came on. Victoria, my dear, I believe we have a situation. I know, I said. My mother-in-law took the ring from my bedroom and gave it to her daughter. She's pretending it's their family's heirloom. Ah, he replied, his tone shifting with understanding. That explains her confusion. When I asked for the certificate of authenticity and history of the piece, she insisted it belonged to her side. But of course, his voice sharpened with professional pride. I have the complete documentation right here. In the background, I heard Ashley whining, complaining, trying to push her way out of the truth. Would you like me to explain the ring's true history to them? He asked politely, though I heard the satisfaction beneath it. Mr. Caracal had known my grandmother for 40 years. He took this personally. Yes, please, and my husband should be there in about 10 minutes. Excellent. I believe this will be settled very clearly then. I hung up and sank into my chair, adrenaline crashing down all at once. 7 years of Margaret's whispered insults, her fake smiles, her attempts to undermine my marriage. All of it had led to this moment. My phone buzzed with a text from James. Almost there. Mom's blowing up my phone. Did she really break into our bedroom? I replied one word. Yes. CARSCAL has the footage from Grandma's last visit. The documentation video. I added. His reply came instantly. Time for Mom to finally face consequences. I smiled, imagining exactly how the scene was unfolding at Caracal's. Margaret called again. I let it go to voicemail. Whatever she had to say, it didn't matter anymore. Sometimes the best revenge isn't yelling. It's letting the truth walk into the room and speak for itself. Sure enough, everything at Carousels went exactly the way I knew it would. James called me on his drive home, fury barely contained in his voice. You should have seen Mom's face when she burst into the shop, he said. She started demanding to know why Ashley was being harassed about the documentation. Then Mr. Caracal pulled out the certified papers. I could picture it clearly. How did she react? First, she tried saying, "Your grandmother must have bought the ring recently," like it magically appeared out of nowhere. Then, Carrick played the security footage from 5 years ago. I smiled, remembering that day. My grandmother, frail but elegant, making sure the transfer was recorded properly. Fine jewelry comes with fine responsibilities, she had told me. And then I asked, though I already knew. Carousel showed everything, the photos, the insurance papers, the chain of ownership. Mom started shrinking. But Ashley completely lost it. She started crying about how you're ruining her wedding, how I always pick you over family. And what did you say? There was a long pause. Then quietly but firmly, he said, I told them both that you are my family. That breaking into our bedroom and stealing your inheritance was unforgivable. I felt warmth spread across my chest. Let me guess, I said. Margaret still didn't think she did anything wrong. Oh, it gets better, James replied. She actually said it's not stealing if it's family. I groaned. Of course she did. That's when Mr. Caracal reminded her he is legally required to report jewelry theft over $100,000. I sat up straighter. He didn't. He did, James said very politely. Mom's face went white so fast I thought she'd faint. The image was delicious, but a small worry tugged at me. How did Ashley take it? She handed the ring over immediately. Suddenly, she wanted nothing to do with any of this. Sad. Mom told her it was a family piece you didn't want. That sounded exactly like Ashley, spoiled, dramatic, but not usually cruel. The poison came from Margaret. But the best part, James continued. Caracal brought out a second set of documents. Photos of Mom's real family heirloom, her engagement ring, the one she sold 20 years ago. I gasped. What? Yeah, apparently, she sold my grandmother's engagement ring back when Dad was sick. Never told anyone she's been wearing a replica. All these years threatening. It was the original. Merkel recognized it as soon as she came in today because he'd handled sale. The irony was almost too perfect. Margaret, who'd spent years accusing me of being a gold digger, had secretly sought her own family's heirloom. How did Ashley react to that? She left, just grabbed her purse and walked out. Mom tried to follow her, but Ashley told her to stay away if finding out about Grandma's ring was the last straw. I could hear the Paints' voice for all their faults. This was still his family. Falling apper team. Sorry it came to this. I said softly, don't be. Mom's been pushing boundaries for years. She needed to face consequences eventually. He paused. Merceracle's keeping the ring in the vault for now. He suggested having it professionally cleaned and inspected just to be safe. Good idea. I twisted my wedding band thinking, what happens now? Now Mom has to deal with the fact that everyone knows what she did both today and 20 years ago. Dad's going to bed about her selling Grandma's ring, and Ashley's going to have to find something else to wear at her wedding. After we hung up, I sat in your quiet house processing everything. Margaret had finally overplayed her hand, and the consequences were spreading beyond just the ring. Years off manipulation and lies were unraveling because she couldn't resist one final power play. My phone buzzed with a text from Ashley. I'm so sorry. I really didn't know. It was your grandmother's ring. Mom said. Well, it doesn't matter what she said. I should have asked James directly. I stared at the message, considering my response. Ashley had been cruel over the years, but always Following Margaret's lead, maybe this was a chance for change. Would you like to coffee tomorrow? I texted back just as her response was immediate. Yes, please. AIDS. I need to say another mess popped up. This one from Margaret Ty. Almost ignored it, but curiosity won out. Inside was a single line. I was only trying to make things right for my daughter. I thought of my grandmother offer insistence on documentation on doing things properly, of her final words to me, take care of the ring, Victoria. It's not just about the jewelry. It's about knowing what matters and protecting it. It looked at Margaret's message again and typed a response. No, you are trying to take something that didn't belong to you. Consequences are yours to bear. Then I blocked her number, stood up and went to make dinner. James would be home soon and we had a lot to talk about. 3 months later, I sat in a small cafe waiting for Ashley's arrival. Today was supposed to her wedding day. Instead, she postponed it indefinitely after everything happened with Margaret. The Bellabuff door chimed and Ashley walked in looking different from the polished, perfect image she usually maintained. Her hair was in a casual ponytail and shower. Minimal makeup. Thanks for meeting, she said, sliding into the seat across from me. Especially today. How are you holding up? I asked, genuinely curious. She gave a small laugh. Better than I expected, actually. Tom and I are still together, but we're taking things slower. Turns out a lot of the rush to get married was Mom's pressure, not what wanted. The waiter brought our coffees and we sat in comfortable silence for a minute. The past 3 months had changed a lot of things in our family. Dad's selling house, Ashley said. Suddenly, after finding out about Grandma's ring, hasted digging into their find out Mom's been hiding a lot more than just jewelry sales. I nodded. James Shad told me about the secret credit cards, the gambling debts, the systematic draining of their retirement accounts. Margaret's theft of my ring had opened up Pandora's box of financial data. While fee divorce proceedings go through, Chester stirred her coffee absently. Mom's not feeling it well. She keeps saying Gabians abandoned her, that she was just trying to give me the wedding she never had. And what do you think Booth at Ashley met my eyes directly. I think she's been lying to herself for so long she doesn't know how to stop. Thoring was just the final straw. All finding out she'd sold Grandma's engagement ring shook her head. That changed everything for Dad. I thought about James's father, a quiet man who'd always seemed overshadowed by Margaret's personality. Learning of the sale of his mother's ring had awakened something in him. Have you heard from her lately? I asked. She's staying with her sister in Florida, sends me daily texts about how we're all going to regret treating her this way. Ashley sighed. The funny thing is, postponing the wedding was the best thing that could have happened. Tom and Eric actually talking about what we want, not what Mom thinks we should have. The cafe was filling up with a lunch crowd, buzz of conversation around us, creating a cocoon of privacy. Victoria, Ashley said, her voice serious. I realized, sorry, not just about the ring but for everything, the way I treated you thievings. I said I was following Mom led, but that's no excuse. Thank you, I said simply, that means a lot. She reached into her bag and pulled out a small box. I found this in Mom's things when we were cleaning out the house. I think you should have it. Inside was a worn velvety box. When I opened it, I found old photographs, my grandmother at various ages, always wearing the sapphire ring. Mom must have taken these from your jewelry box when she took the ring. There's a letter too from your grandmother. My hands trembled slightly as I unfolded the yellow paper. My grandmother's elegant handwriting fit the page, detailing the ring's history, the women who had worn it, and their story of self-love and resilience. Keep these safe for me, Ashley said softly. Maybe someday you'll share them with your own daughter. When I got home that evening, James was in the kitchen making dinner. The ring, no cleaned and secured, sat in its new home, a wall safe we'd installed after the incident. How was coffee with us? She asked, stirring something that smelled delicious. Good, really good. Actually, just changed a lot since everything happened. I showed him the box, all photographs. He looked through them carefully. Mom tried to erase your family's history, but she ended up exposing her own lies instead. Some of his worst actions bring out feeblest in others, I said, thinking of how this crisis had strengthened some family bonds, while breaking others. James pulled close. Mom called again today, left a voice now saying she's changed, that she wants to make amends. And what do y'all think? I think actions speak louder than words. She's had years to cruise differently, to treat you with respect. Tony, crisis doesn't change who she is. In nodded, leaning into his embrace. The ring was more than just jewelry. It had becoming a catalyst for truth, forcing long-buried secrets and resentments into the light. Your grandmother would be proud," Jane said, kissing my forehead, "not just of how you protected the ring, but of how you handled everything after." Looking at the photographs spread across our kitchen counter, I saw generations of women who had worn the sapphire ring, each adding their own story to its legacy. Margaret had tried to steal that history, but in doing so, she'd only proved why she was never meant to be part of it. Sometimes most valuable things we inherit aren't the ones that can be stolen. They have the strength, wisdom, and grace passed down through generations. No one could take that away, not even Margaret. Would you stay silent if someone tried to steal your family's legacy, or fight back before it's too late? Read Victoria's story to see how she turned betrayal into justice.